Keeping up with the Joneses. I love this one. Many people buy things because they're hoping that because their neighbors play and they can hear the neighbors playing, they're like, "Oh, I should get a musical instrument like that and I should teach myself how to play." So we buy things and some of them are kind of expensive. We buy things like a keyboard, and this is an 88 keyboard, okay? This isn't one of the little ones. This is a great big 88 key keyboard with weighted keys that are just like a piano. So while you're sitting here inside what is a home music room, you can sit there and you can play as if you were really playing on a regular keyboard. So I love that, right? I love the theory of it. Now, in our home, and I recommend that you do this in your home, even if you're only one person, there needs to be a financial limit at which point you do not buy things unless you have another conversation. And in my home, we started out and the conversation was $400. If you're going to buy anything over $400, both parties, the husband and wife, need to sit down and have a conversation about it to make sure that we're both playing on the same page. And now, as my business has expanded, I buy lots of stuff in my business that's way more expensive than that, but it's because it's for my business, not for my personal life. Okay. So the rules of this will change, but there needs to be kind of a cap where you're kind of like, whoa, I'm back to that impulse buying thing again. I just saw a Korg Triton keyboard, 88 weighted keys online. I got to have that. Didn't need it 5 minutes ago, but I can't live another 5 minutes without it. I got to get me one of those. And this goes back to, when are you going to play? Do you play now? Is this a previous interest? You see how these are all sort of stacking on top of each other, and they're different conversations we're having with ourselves. Because if we start having different conversations with ourselves, we're going to get different answers. And that's exactly what I'm trying to enforce today when we have this conversation. Because if we keep doing the same things we've always done, we're going to keep getting the same results we've always gotten. So if we're going to do things radically different, we have to ask radically different questions. Does that make sense? Okay. So going back to the keeping up with the Joneses, who are the Joneses? Who are the Joneses? Yeah, we hear the neighbors playing, but what does that have to do with our lives? Right? Because they have a piano, we got to have a piano. That doesn't even make any sense. When are we going to find time to play? And so then the next question becomes, do you play now? If you do not play now, when will you take lessons? Are you really going to stop and pay for piano lessons so that you can learn how to play because the neighbors are taking piano lessons and they know how to play? That doesn't even make any sense. And then how long each day are you going to practice? Now, I ask this question because if you don't have time to practice, there's no sense buying a great big keyboard and have it sit in your house for 15 years, right? That doesn't even make any sense. Yet, if all of us look room to room in our houses, you'd find a bunch of odds and ends and weird, cool stuff that at one time it was going to change your life, right? My husband justified it by saying, "Oh, well, we got to have this because, like, you make YouTube videos and you need music for videos. I could create the music. You could have original compositions for your YouTube videos." And I bought into that. But let me stop for a second. Let me think through this. He's a hunter, right? So as long as he's hunting and there's no arrival at the end conclusion, he will keep hunting. But once I said yes to that, the hunt stopped, the interest changed, and he went off to hunt something else. So he bought what he wanted, punching Bob. He bought the keyboard. Not knocking my husband here, but this was a real learning experience for us on why are we buying the things that we're buying, because at the time it made sense, right? We're going to switch up our workout. We're going to keep interested in the workout so that we keep working out. We're going to buy music because we can use it in our YouTube videos. But the reality is this: my husband works for a car dealership and he's gone from about 8 o'clock in the morning until at least 8 o'clock at night, maybe longer. Oh, wait a second. When is he going to practice the piano? And we didn't think that through, right? So I said yes to something that didn't even make sense. And now I have a keyboard in my house that rarely, if ever, gets used. I don't play. I don't have time to play. I wasn't going to take piano lessons. He doesn't play. He doesn't take piano lessons. And so it doesn't get used. So now I'm going to sell it because we don't need it in the house. We're not using it, and there are other ways, like stock libraries of already designed music that if I need music for a YouTube video, I can pay a licensing fee and I can license it and boom, nobody had to create it. I didn't have to go spend hours and figure out melodies, right? It's just more conducive to my lifestyle to do it a different way.